Hey guys, Bunn here. I'm back for another video. Week number 3 in this new channel for me, and it has already been so much fun to get to interact with so many of you regarding your finances and your money, and I've just ran into people that have said they've watched the videos and you're sharing them. Thank you. I just wanted to start the video out by saying thank you. My last video, if you haven't watched it, click over here. I think that's where it goes. I'm new to this whole thing, but $400,000 in debt. That's where Heather and I were about 10 years ago. And I walked through what we did to get into that debt, all the decisions we've made wrong. I do want to say that after watching the video, I was sitting there thinking, we have never really been frivolous with our money. We've never just spent like crazy or anything like that. The debt mainly came from student loans, which caused us to be low on money, which made us need to use credit cards. And we never went on fabulous vacations or spent money we shouldn't have on things we didn't need. Or we had it pretty rough for a while. When we got into our first house, we didn't have furniture for a while. We sat in lawn chairs inside of our house. My aunt helped me buy a couch. We had used broken cars, and everything kind of just stacked up against us. It always just seemed like nothing was working, and I don't know if you can relate, or nothing was working for us, but like if you can relate to that, you know, it's like when it rains, it pours. You know, at one point in life, my house, the water pipe was frozen, my Jeep was broken down, our electric had gone out, and we were pretty much homeless. Both cars weren't working, everything seemed like the world was going to end, and when it rained, it poured, and we were just out of money. And that's kind of where, you know, if you get to that position, you make really, really bad decisions. And so before we even really got into life, we were so far in debt that no matter what we did, we couldn't really dig out. And so with this channel, I want to be inspirational, yes, but I want to show some behind the scenes of what we've done, what we've been doing. So I want some feedback from the listeners out there. I have ideas and thoughts for this channel where I want to show monthly analytical reports of like what money we've made, how much money we've paid off, how much money we've saved, things like that, to show you more ways to make more money in your business and to inspire you. I also want to show you behind the scenes journey of when we're paying things off or things like that. And so there's a lot of different things that I could see with this channel and with it becoming, but the heart of this channel for me is to have an authentic, real place for me to talk about money and to share what we're doing with our money. Because now when we fast forward, you know, to 2020, 11 years later, we have margin. And I don't know how to explain to you how much margin means, but whenever we start a new month now, we have more than enough money to pay all of the bills for that month before getting paid. And so at the end of the month, there's more money in the account than when I started the month, and I've paid all of my bills. So every month our wealth is beginning to grow, and I want to show you how we do that. And to be honest, like Heather and I have had lots of conversations just about like how to do that without trying to come across as arrogant or cocky, and our heart is not to be that at all. And honestly, the people that I know that are watching this, it's more uncomfortable for me to have these videos out there than people that are maybe finding me on YouTube or things like that, or as this channel grows, it's a little less uncomfortable, because the one thing we don't want to do is to make it feel like we were the ones that did this. You know, we're Christians. We believe that God has given us this money to steward for Him, for His kingdom, and that's our heart. And so we're just trying to be good stewards of this money. And honestly, the more that I do what I do, I love filming weddings, I love running podcasts, but at the heart of every conversation I get to, I always get back to people and their money and like how and they can grow it and how they can have margin in their lives. And I just have always been that way, and it's always been like a burden for me, or you know, I don't know if it's a calling, but I sit here and I think, man, if I could just help that person make $500 more a month, or $1,000, like if they just had that little bit of margin, they could start to make, you know, headway in their life. They could have a little bit of traction. And so that's what I want this channel to be. But in this video, I wanted to really talk about what being in $400,000 of debt did to me. Now, when you have that much debt, and hopefully you don't have that much debt, there's a lot of things you can't do. Like, think about it. If you have $1,500 of payments a month just on student loan debt, and paying that still gets you further in debt the next month, you have stress, and you can't just go on vacation, and you can't buy your wife that thing she wants, or you can't get new clothes. You're really in just survival mode, and that's okay to be in that mode for a season, like a really small season. But if I could go back to myself in 2007, 2008, whenever I was just getting going, I would have kicked myself in the butt and said, the president's not going to help you make more money. The local government isn't going to help you make more money. John Bunn of 2008, you have to get out there and figure out how to make more money. There is two sides of the equation. There is income and there is outgo. And if you don't have more income than you do outgo, you're going further into debt. And so I remember whenever I really started to grasp this subject, I was reading a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he was like, what's in your hand? What is out there that you can make money, in your spare time? How can you generate money on top of your job? At my church, our pastor talked about this as a sixth day job. On the sixth day of your week, what can you do to get yourself ahead? Most people work 5 days. They take off 2 days. But if they just worked on that sixth day, that would give them that extra income. And so I just started thinking of witty ideas, and I would encourage you to think, if you're in this position where you're stressed and you're behind, what things can you do on your sixth day? What do you love doing? I loved cameras. I loved filming things. I always did. And I had a video camera my mom let me borrow / I stole from her for college. And I just started filming things. I started asking people if they wanted me to film their graduations. I started looking at things and saying, what can I do to film things to make more money? And I started filming football games, and I started filming dance recitals. And before I knew it, I had margin in my life, and I was able to start digging away at some of this debt. My problem was that even though I was making an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month, it just barely scratched the surface of a $400,000 debt. So what did I do? I literally just kept making extra money every month for 100 months. And if I could go back in time and just be like, hey, John, don't get into that much debt, it would have saved me 10 years of slavery in my life. The borrower is slave to the lender, and that is exactly how I have felt for so long. Now, a disclaimer, a lot of you all have said congratulations on paying off all of your debt. I didn't make it clear, and I could have been better at this, but we are not all the way out of our student loan debt still. We have paid off hundreds of thousands of dollars of the student loans, but we had 400,000. So we're under 6 figures of debt to go. Every single month, we're able to chunk more and more and more towards our debt. And I'm going to do some more videos of me actually paying off some of these loans so you guys can see them. But I just wanted to really reiterate, you have to say, when you have this much debt, you have to say no to a lot of things. I remember sitting and watching as everybody else was going on vacation and everybody else was getting new shoes and new clothes, and it wasn't even an option. It was like, I'm gonna buy something cheap. I'm gonna try to figure out for several years until there was just enough room to start breathing. And then it felt like I was so far in debt to myself that in my house, it was like, oh my goodness, I need to get the windows fixed. I need to upgrade the bathroom. I need to get new crib for my kid. And so it was like I was in debt to myself. So anytime there was any extra money, I was so far behind. And it was just like this rat race that I could never get out of. And it all stemmed from getting into debt that I didn't need to get into. And if I were, in my shoes 10 years ago, I would just say that there could have been another way besides getting all of that debt. So if you're in a position where you're thinking about getting debt, or you are in debt, if you're about to get into debt, please try to figure out a different way besides getting into debt. And if you are in debt, what can you do on that extra day of the week? What can you do to generate revenue? Nobody else is going to be helping you out. Hopefully some family will give you some money or do that kind of thing. But for the majority of us, that's not an option. And so you can't just sit around on your hands and wait for somebody to bail you out or figure this out for you. Maybe you will get somebody to bail you out. Maybe that'll be awesome. But what if they don't? Are you just going to sit in debt for the rest of your life? Because what happens now, as we're almost all the way out of this hole, I'm seeing my income get to be the biggest it's ever been and my debt to be the lowest it's ever been. And so after every single month, I have so much more margin that I'm able to chunk a ton of money at debt. And once that's all gone, I'm going to be able to chunk all that money into investing and into growing wealth. And that is what I want for this channel. And that's what I want for you. So if you can, share this video with somebody that you know needs to be listening and talking about money, and somebody that needs to hear from somebody else besides you. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's somebody that you can't get through to them. Share this video with them. If you can, subscribe to this channel. I've got a lot of other things coming up. I have a behind the scenes video of me paying off one of my largest debts that I just did this last month or so ago. And I have just a lot of things that I really am excited about for this channel. Appreciate you guys so much. The support has been incredible, and I will see you guys in the next video.